Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including four-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a four-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
Three-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a three-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare two laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello and welcome to round 3 of the Simutec Motorsports TCR Winter Series live on Apex Racing TV. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick and alongside me is DJ Clark. Sam Kumo is bringing you this broadcast on our YouTube channel this evening. We're here at Knockhill, the first time I believe a Sim Racers World Series has ever visited this track. It should be a very entertaining 3 20-minute races. DJ, this place is really narrow. It's not best for all cars, but I think these touring cars perhaps feel at home more here than any other cars. The curbs are big, but these cars can handle it, and overtaking will be possible even though there's not too many chances around this place.
No, there really aren't a whole lot of chances to overtake, but after the rail race straight going down into Taylor's, there'll be a good shot to get a move. And these TCRs, as you said, they'll be able to be really aggressive coming over the curbing, and I think that is really going to provide some great racing. Although one of the truisms of Knockhill is that you have to be aggressive to be fast will continue to be true, and it's just finding that line between that aggression over the curbs and not getting too far over it and making a mistake.
Yeah, I raced the USF 2000 quite a bit around this track, I think in week 2 of the official series, and that car was a lot more tricky. You don't touch the curves whatsoever. Of course, you got to touch the curves around the kind of over the crest chicane. That will be one of the big challenges, but for these cars should be much more simple, should be able to handle a lot more of that. We're currently in a 15-minute qualifying session. We've got 8 more minutes to go in this qualifying session, and you can see we've got a really strong field once again, around 30 drivers taking part tonight. I think we can show you your championship standings in, of course, the overall championship, and then also, or the pro championship, apologies, and the amateur championship. Matthew Crisp is currently at the top. He had a brilliant Imola round. He wasn't necessarily the fastest driver, but he managed to get the first 2 race wins of the evening and then was solid in race 3. Then it is Miguel Freitas in second place. Then it's Ben Danes. Terje Flatson's been very quick, but he's got quite a deficit to make up. Then it's Young, Tim Perry, Mark Woodhouse, Hagen, Anderson, and Wright. Some very strong drivers further down the order who just have not been able to get some good results in so far. And in the amateur championship, we have got Thomas Layson at the top, and he has been extremely impressive this season, even though he did have some setbacks at Imola. He was very strong at Okayama in particular. It's Ben Denyer, Dean Catherwood, and Joachim Goldbranson in 4th position. So yeah, both championships of course open. With still got 2 more rounds to go after this one, but that Imola round was just so crazy, and I think, you know, it will come down to mostly skill by the end of the season, but DJ, you really do need a lot of luck in this type of racing.
No, you really do. We've seen the sort of kerfluffles that can happen specifically at the start of these races, and you've just got to sometimes be lucky to be able to catch yourself out and not be a part of any of those early lap incidents. And that's kind of the theme that we've seen, is if you can avoid the first couple of laps craziness, then you can really and truly be able to just set yourselves forward and focus on the racing.
Yeah, we even needed a safety car, didn't we, last time out at Imola in race 2. That was honestly one of the most entertaining races I've ever seen. It was really, really fun last time at Imola, and I hope that we have similar. And I appreciate, maybe the drivers don't appreciate the chaos and would rather it being nice and serene, but certainly for the viewers, I think it was a lot of fun last time out. So yeah, hopefully we see something similar this time. This man is currently on pole position, championship leader in the amateurs for Flemish Sim Sports. It's the 199 of Thomas Layson. Can he improve? No, he cannot. It's a decent lap time, but he will need to go again if he is going to improve. But that is looking strong for him at the moment up there. But Terje Flatson, I was saying, you know, he's been very quick. I think arguably the fastest driver so far this season. But 4/10 around Knockhill, it's insane.
That is a massive, massive gap to be had on such a tight and twisting little circuit. It is certainly throwing down the bar here early on what is possible and on what the skill level is going to be for Flassen to be able to try to pull out ahead over the likes of Wright and Anderson.
It's really impressive. So you can see how he's pushing, maybe picking up a 1x there, but going too far out into the grass. De Kuiper improves, but you can still see miles behind Thanes, and Thanes now actually, apologies, else Thanes improving, but he's still, my point was, De Kuiper a long way behind Lace. So will do very well to really make any impact in that gap, frankly. Here is Scott Malcolm, who's having a decent qualifying. Of course, so impressive on the media day was Malcolm. It's won, I think, all 3 amateur races. Hasn't repeated that pace since. I'm not sure if we quite had the same level of drivers on that media day as we have had in the first 2 rounds. He is not able to improve on that time round. And yeah, just looking at the elevation, I feel like this is like very near a perfect hot lap circuit. I think this and maybe Tsukuba, DJ, are maybe the best hot lapping circuits. Very different tracks, of course, but they're kind of short enough that you can get that perfect lap. But in only a 15-minute session, you haven't got much time to do it.
Yeah, it is definitely a track that is made for hot lapping, overtaking at a premium like we talked about. Although I will say I've been lucky enough to call a couple of races here from Knockhill since it's been added to the iRacing service, and I have yet to see a stinker of a race. It is absolutely great racing, very tight quarters. It's a lot of pressure, that sort of pressure I always talk about that you have to put on that driver in front of you to try to force them to make a mistake. That's really the name of the game around here, trying to get that to play out, but just absolutely a great addition to iRacing and a track that is very quickly becoming near and dear to my heart.
Yeah, it was very. There was a small fraction of people who were very vocal about Knockhill coming to the iRacing service, calling in for it for a long time, and eventually it did. Not sure when they scanned this post, but it is very thankful that it is now on the service because yeah, we are filling up with these BTCC circuit. It's very good to see. Mats Borgansen, it's just so close between second down to fifth, as you can see, and then just an absolute huge gap. He's taking all the curb there, and that will definitely be a 1x for Anderson. But see the drivers go that far out wide, they come the race. I think they've got 16 incidents they can pick up before they get a drive-through penalty, so they'll be very liberal out there on the gravel. And then just this final corner to go, the hairpin, where we will probably see most of the overtaking, I think, DJ. I think that corner, it's so wide, and it's almost double apex as well. You can take a multitude of different lines. You can sort of go wide on the entry and then kind of tighten it up. You can sort of maybe trail brake the car in and try to cut off the angle on the inside. I assume on that point we're going to see a lot of dives around there, because if the opponent's slightly early, it's fairly easy to get your car up the inside.
Yeah, it certainly is, and the combination of that is after the railway straight going down into that final hairpin, that is the prime overtaking opportunity. But if you're not exactly able to get the move done, we have been able to see a lot of drivers go into a drag race down the pit straightaway then and going down into Duffus Dip, that first sort of chicane corner. Now, you can't really go too wide through there, but it's just a battle of the late breakers to see who's going to blink first, and so that could be the second area that we see a good amount of overtaking.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout. And then, of course, all of the rest of this place, just corner after corner after corner. It takes a lot of driver skill, but yeah, just not really any big braking areas in order to go for a move. King improved slightly. We've got lots of drivers returning to the pits, and of course, once the 15 minutes are up, that is it. They've got to make sure that they try to complete these lap times in time. Hagen improves to 10th place. Ask coming very close to an improvement, but he is just short. He's in 11th position. This is called Branson, a bit far down. In fact, he's last at the moment. It's called Branson. He's not last anymore. He moves up to 25th position, 1.8 seconds off the pace. And we've also got Ben Thanes to cross the line. Terje Flatson is not going to make it to the line. In fact, I think Thanes might be the last. Could this be pole position? It would be a massive effort. I don't think he reached the line, unfortunately. I'm not quite sure. Or maybe it just wasn't a very good lap. Anyway, he didn't move up any places. Thanes removed in that position. So it's Terje Flatson then on pole position once again. He's got some catching up to do. P3 in the championship. He's got to have a stellar 3 rounds in order to take that crown. Then it's Adam Wright in second place, Mats Borgansen in third. Miguel Freight, second place in the championship, lines up in fourth. Then it's Chris Young, Brian Loynes, Matthew Crisp, championship leader. Remember, he won race 1 last time out at Imola, I think from a similar position, so don't rule him out. Then it is Ben Hicks, Ben Thanes, Thor Hagen, Hakon Ask, Paul King is in 12th. Then it's Thomas Layson, who is top of the amateur drivers. Mark Woodhouse, John Roberts, Tim Perry, Niles de Kuiper and Martin Shirley are second and third respectively in the amateurs. Then it's got Malcolm, Craig Schill, Ricardo Neto, Sean Gardner, Neil Stevenson, Steve Grabowski, Joachim Gulbrandsen, Sven Kalber, Matt Daly and Jakub Szymanski rounding out the 28 cars we have here out tonight. Not a very strong qualifying there for Matthew Crisp, it must be said. DJ, I was expecting a little bit more from him. You know, he usually gets up there with pace, with consistency, but he'll be wanting a bit more pace than that.
Yeah, indeed he will, and especially at a track like this where it's not as easy to overtake, I think he may find himself on the back foot, but he's just going to want to try to stay as high up towards the field as possible and hopefully see if he can take advantage of anybody else's misfortune here today.
Fantastic to see touring cars lining up here at Knockhill, and it will be Flatson leading us away from that pole position. Not sure if everyone has been able to get onto the grid. We are going to use all 2 minutes of the gridding process. before the lights will come on. So Flatson, 4/10 clear in qualify. Can he convert this race 1 to a race victory? Away we launch at Knockhill. It's a really strong start for him. It's a dreadful start for Rice, who should go and drop down to 4th position, I think, right off the start. Can Freitas be able to muscle his way up the inside? Seemed like Wright was just backing out of that one. So Freitas up to 3rd place. That is fantastic for his championship. And look at Crisp as well. He's had a good start. He's up 2 places ahead of Loynes and Young now as they get into single file going over the crest. There is a Layson, I think, in battle. He is really close right now to Woodhouse. Ask off the circuit. He's dropping a couple of places, has to rejoin, almost makes contact with his teammates, and a few other drivers running very wide a bit should avoid any slowdowns or anything out there. So it's Flatson leading the way. Anderson in 2nd place as the front guys try to make a bit of a gap.
Running very, very wide there. You see that Ignium Motorsports car having a little bit of problems there. We focus in on Ben Thanes as he tries to work his way forward a little bit. That is Brian Loynes directly ahead of him. Right behind him there, it looks like we've got a little bit of side-by-side with Hicks.
Yeah, Hicks starting in 8th position. And he's currently ahead of Paul King, who is up 2 places from his start. Really close is this part of the field. Just need to make sure that they get over the curb nicely. That's too wide though for the Ignium Motorsports car. I think that will be very close to the wall. It is into the wall, Chris Young. He had no braking ability out on the gravel there and just pushing it too hard, ran wide and hit those tyres. And I think he is towed back to the pits as well, so huge shame for him. Of course, that's going to wreck his race 2 and probably race 3 as well. Meanwhile, further up, Tim Perry, he's up 3 places. He's really on a charge. Layson dropping back, and he's only got 1 car now between himself and 2nd place in the amateurs, so not a strong start at all for Layson. He's down a place.
Indeed, Martin Shirley looking to be a little bit aggressive there on Scott Malcolm, but has to back off as they come in through the 1st corner there of Duffus Dip. So we're seeing a lot of aggression, a lot of passing attempted to be made coming out of Taylor's here, and that is a little bit of what we thought we may see.
Scott Malcolm, of course, at his home circuit. I think he said earlier on in the season he's not particularly fussed about it. So he's the only Scottish member on iRacing who isn't a big fan of this circuit, I think. But he's doing very well at the moment. 2nd place in the amateurs. King and Hagen battling. There goes Malcolm, in fact. I think he had to back out of that move. Yeah, no change there. In fact, it has compromised his exit a bit. King ahead of Hagen, so I think he's just made up that move. I am right. No, I think he's just stayed ahead, in fact, judging by those lap times. So King, yeah, just staying ahead of Hagen a bit. Looked like they may change positions at the end of the previous lap. We go back to a little bit further up. Things a long way off the track, and you'll quite often see drivers with that red light behind their position light up for really 3 or 4 seconds straight, but that is kind of how long sometimes these drivers are off track, keeping it pinned on the gravel, because as long as you get onto the track by the next braking zone, it's usually all right. As we see the Ignium Motorsports cars change position, that is Ask moving past Hicks.
It is indeed, and Mark Woodhouse starting to get a little bit interested in the background of that as well, trying to see if there's a little bit something to be had. He's going to go off. That is Ben Hicks being a little bit defensive going down the main straightaway.
Yeah, just covering off any opportunity. Woodhouse not taking the curb there. And we go through this really narrow part of the lap. Oh, really wide there for Ask, and now the teammates are kind of getting in each other's way. No way through for Woodhouse though, as your vision is really impaired. Oh, we've got a car way on the inside. That's Hagen, and that's going to be a tricky rejoin as well. He does a good job at getting onto the track. I was concerned he wouldn't be able to brake in time for the corner. There's quite a lot of smoke being kicked up, or gravel being kicked up. Not sure if there's another driver having a problem. Has been a problem for Gardner though. There he is. Has he hit the wall? Car looks to be pointing in the right direction. He's lost a bunch of positions, it looks like. There, he's down to 24.
I wonder if that was maybe a slowdown if he cut the corner a little bit, the way he was just kind of letting everyone ride. This is the replay of it. This isn't off here, I'm not sure what happened.
Here's the 163. He doesn't leave him any space. And Gardner gets forced off. Now, I'm not sure what the rules are for stewarding when it comes to leaving a space, as Branson's now on the track. But it's so tricky around this circuit to say to drivers, you got to leave a car's width on the outside because it is so narrow, particularly around that part. And we see it again. I mean, can you imagine leaving a car's width there? You're not going to be able to use pretty much the outside half of the track. But where do you draw the line? Do you leave half a car's length? Unsure. Shirley moves past Roberts anyway. And that's one of the decisions that the stewards that we have got, in-race stewards, of course, with this, along with post-race stewards as well, might be one of the decisions that they have to make.
It may be indeed, but it looks like John Roberts here going to try to fight back a little bit on Martin Shirley going down the pit straight. He's not going to have anything, just tucks up behind. You saw him flashing his lights earlier. Oh, that's Roberts off!
Seemed to go for days before reaching a wall, but he did reach one eventually. And losing control of the car, you can see the damage on the front of that Hyundai. And he's all by himself now on track. Big shame for Roberts. He would have been maybe thinking of getting in the top 10 and maybe getting within the reverse grid places, but yeah, it's not going to happen for him. Other drivers with problems: Grabowski, Gorbranson, and Chris Young, who started up in 5th position as well, with significant problems earlier on in the race. Top 2 really sped out. Flatson taking so much curve there. I don't see how that's not a slow down, but he gets away with it. And almost completely straight lining that chicane.
Yeah, really just aggressive driving here on Terry Flatson. You can see Matt Anderson trying to close in behind him. I'm frankly surprised that Flatten continues to drive that aggressively with the gap he has been able to build up here at this point. But at the same time, just some good pace out of the both of them. They are really gapping Freitas right behind them.
When we went live, we had a message from Joost van Beek, which is possibly the most Dutch name which I've ever heard. So very impressive stuff. Thomas Layson, amateur goat, which I think is fair enough because he's the leader in the championship and also the leader in this race. So excellent work there from Layson. After it was getting a little bit patchy for him earlier on, I think he dropped down to 14th near the start of the race, but he got back up to 13th as we got Woodhouse off the track. We could get a replay of how that one happened, albeit actually might be another move on here. Hagen right behind, also Ask and King switching places again. I think Ask has made that move in fact on King. That seemed very easy for him. Meanwhile, Hagen getting up the inside of Woodhouse, who wasn't able to put much of a defence. Now he'll take that alternative line. Gets on the power way earlier there was Mark Woodhouse, and he'll be at minimum alongside. Had the opportunity maybe to go up the inside. There certainly was a car's width at that point. He decided to go to the outside. I don't think he's going to be able to do anything around here because he'll be forced off the track, and still he's on the outside for the next corner, but carrying really good speed. Will a car's width be left? Not that time once again, maybe half a car's width on that occasion. And we see that same problem with this circuit at Knockhill, just too narrow for even these fairly small touring cars to get around.
Yeah, not a lot of space no matter how you slice it. We go back and check a look at the replay here of the previous lap. This is what set Woodhouse off to begin with, I believe. Just ran a little bit wide. Oh, barely able to catch it there. That car was completely sideways.
Surprised by that. I don't think he, and I might be being quite dumb here to be honest, but as far as I know, you don't usually see that in front-wheel drive cars because he lost the rear end there. That's something that you usually see on the rear. If anything, when you're off the track, maybe a couple of wheels dipped onto the gravel in a front-wheel drive car, once you get onto the track, it sort of like really grips up. But yeah, that time actually losing the rear end there, which was quite surprising. Loins is behind Crisp. Further up though, this is Freitas versus Wright. Wright, who lost the position due to a dreadful launch right at the start, And Freitas has been able to keep it ever since then. Remember, Freitas Mr. Consistent so far in this championship. Has got a couple of race wins, to be fair. But Wright looks faster, and he moves his way past. That was absolutely brilliant with the drift, I think, due to the contact. But he managed to muscle his way around a corner. That we haven't seen too many moves, at least around the outside so far tonight. Wright with a very well-earned podium position.
Indeed, elbows out there for Adam Wright, just absolutely pushing himself forward and willing himself along. That is a very, very heads-up play, and I'd be a little bit scared if I were any other drivers around him, but he has got that much tenacity here today. Clearly that start, as you said, setting him back a little bit, putting a fire underneath him.
And here we go for another outside move. We've got another driver onto the grass, and this is Crisp, who's been defending seemingly for the entire race. He's got Loins behind him, but Thanes might be able to get past Loins here if he's not careful. Is there contact on the back of Crisp? I think he just about got it stopped there, did Ben Thanes, who's still got the inside into the 90 right. And these guys do leave the cars, but that was good effort. But you seriously cannot run this pace. You just got to back out of it. That's what Thanes did, and they stay in the same order. But for how long? Because now it's Thanes under pressure from Ask, who's had a couple of offs already tonight, but he has not dropped far off these drivers. From looking like he could get up to P6, he's desperately trying to hold on to P7.
Yeah, desperately trying to hold on to it. Right on board with Paul King, who is back in the popcorn position to that battle. He's taking a little bit of a later apex there into Taylor's to just see if he can maximize some speed. Not really able to close that much down on Ask ahead of him, but he is at least going to be keeping an eye out, because if these two start to battle, he is going to be in the position to be able to move himself ahead.
Layson versus Perry now. And this is Layson defending from Perry. Perry in the only Honda. No, there are a couple of other Hondas, apologies. He's in the highest place Honda at the moment. And he is doing some good work with it. And that battle has really set back Layson. You can see Malcolm now right on his tail. It was looking quite comfortable there with Layson for a while, but he's now got P2 in the absence right on his tail. And this is certainly, if you discount the media day, I think the most impressive performance so far this season from Scott Malcolm, looking really good, as there has been a bit of contact seemingly at the hairpin, and this could come to a boil at some point. Dane's ahead of Ask after all of that, and he does remain ahead again. I'm struggling to recall, did Ask actually manage to get past Thanes, or was Thanes able to hold on to that throughout?
I believe Thanes was able to hold on to that throughout, as Paul King was definitely trailing behind Ask a little bit earlier.
Ask though just knows that he needs to be somewhat close into the hairpin, and then either force his rival into a defensive move. But surely from here he could go for that dive, and he has a look. Thanes kind of going for that early turn in, and now we see the opportunistic move there, and that totally ruined Ask's line. He was going for a wide and then tight exit right there, but the presence of King really denied him any chance of doing that, and cost them a bit of time. King, though, very much making his presence aware to Ask, who gains pretty much all that time that he lost in just a couple of corners.
Yeah, really able to gain it back up again, as here they go. This battle seeming like it is not going away anytime soon. Down there, Clark's now trying to get on the power of the railway straight. That's a little bit of a wide one for Thanes, but it doesn't look like it compromised him.
That's probably the biggest that the gap has been for a little while, so good effort there. Yeah, Ask, still continuing to chase in the Ignium Motorsports Blaze machine. Fantastic to see so many Ignium Motorsports drivers around. There's a good battle right now behind Matt Daly. He's just ahead of Martin Shirley, Neil Stevenson, Sven Kalber, and Niles de Kuip with up 5 cars batsing. I think if you look at the timing side, you can see those drivers all setting their time very similar to one another, similar size pack to this one, as Alex goes super defensive there, Thanes, to defend against Ask, and look at King again, trying to be opportunistic. And they're sort of tripping over each other at the moment are the two teammates. Will King go for a sneaky move once again, or will he allow Ask to take that wide line? In the end, he will kind of just follow the exact same line. The four of them closer than ever.
Yeah, keeping very, very close here is that battle you were talking about. Sven Calvert and Stevenson, Mills to Kuiper, all very, very close. That is to Kuiper there, or Calvert that we follow, rather.
Really crazy how close everyone is out on track. We've got the front runners who have pulled away slightly. So pretty much everyone is in a battle at the moment, up and down the order. Really fantastic. So what's there just a move near the front? In fact, Ask was able to get past Thanes. So I think that was the change. So Ask has finally got past Thanes. Now, where was this one? Was it a mistake from Thanes? I wonder if he's run wide here. And that is what has happened. He's looked vulnerable around that part of the circuit quite a bit. And that time, Ask was able to take advantage. So Ask now leads that train, but it's still very close between them.
Very, very close. Whoa!
Now it's King on the grass.
Was indeed, and King getting very aggressive with the curbing coming up over the chicane. You can tell just how much he is pushing. We've only got 4 minutes to go in this race, so he knows he has got to try to hold on to this position with everything that he can. Probably wants to be up into that 8th place, because remember, with the reverse grid, that will be pole position. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's something that the drivers will be keeping an eye on. Yeah, can be between 6 and 12, I believe. I think last time it was 7 and 8, wasn't it? Of course, that's done separately for the pros and the apps. We will get to that current race there, of course, just for race 2. We're going to have the same finish, the same starting order as the finishing order from race 1. As Crisp and Loins, of course, no need to worry about Thanes anymore. He's been busy fighting with Ask and Co. So they've got a comfortable advantage. But Crisp knows if he drops any lower, he will lose the championship lead, I believe. I think he currently has a 1-point advantage over Miguel Freitas. He's currently 1 position behind, so I believe they would be tied if it ended like this. So he does sort of want to keep behind Loins. He possibly can in what could be a championship that comes right down to the wire. He's been taking this inside line quite a bit, but that is terrific speed there. Around the outside, they bang doors. Is he able to stay alongside? No, he is not. Loins gets ahead, and that is a move that has been coming for 15-16 minutes, and he's finally moved his way up to 5th. Yeah, finally he's been able to get that position done, as that is a big off in the back for Ask there. Doesn't look like he lost a position, but certainly lost a good chunk of time.
Yeah, besides that, if he can remove those errors off, then he looks very quick, doesn't he? I mean, he's been able to pull away from these others. Oh, has Chris got back past? Wow, I wasn't expecting that one. And this really will invite Ask to this battle. Well, actually, Lauren's got a way better exit, so pulls even further ahead, but Crisp was out of any chance of that one, and then seemed to go for an audacious move into the heaven.
Yeah, very, very last-minute move there, trying to dive that in, but as you said, that's going to allow for Ask to get back into this battle, and that is terrible news for Matthew Crisp. In terms of the championship, he has got to try to maintain every position that he can.
Seemingly nailing these few corners. This time gap down to 0.7 of a second though to Ask. Only got 2 more laps then to go for most of the drivers. Platinum recently setting a new lap, so we'll have plenty of time to complete what is the by far the shortest lap of the entire season. Surely, is he going to be able to get past De Kuiper here? No. Well, in fact, he may well be able to. Can De Kuiper keep it on the circuit, or will surely force him off? We did get on the power nice and early there, did Carper, so this could still be an opportunity for him to respond into turn 1, but it's just not big enough braking area, and so we've now got Shirley up into 18th place. Woodhouse another off for him. He's really not liking the crest so far tonight. I think that sent him down another place. He's down to 12th position right now, which is yeah, not where he would have been wanting to finish back at the start of the event. Meanwhile, Terje Flatson out in the lead, 4.7 seconds ahead of the others. He has been totally dominant, just as dominant as he was in qualifying.
Yeah, absolutely pushing ahead. You can see there with that 4.5 second advantage that Flatson has. It's really, really impressive as he is on, I believe, the white flag lap. Ooh, that is Martin Shirley losing a bucket of places.
Yeah, Shirley, I think we saw Shirley get up to 18th, didn't we? So maybe get a replay of that after the race. Because for now, Terje Flatson is approaching the checker flag. And he'll be hoping more race wins come to him in that way, because that was domination that we haven't seen so far this season. Flatson wins right his round at the end, and that will be well, good news for Chris. But look at how Wright is really struggling to get back onto track. So tricky to rejoin in a front-wheel drive car, and this is horrendous for Adam Wright, who of course would have been hoping to get a good result in this race to start up high on the grid for race 2, but he has lost some 10 places right there. He still cannot get underway. I think the elevation not helping him either, trying to tow that car up the line. Now, where's the checker flag going to be? This could be important for him to hold on to any more positions. Here comes Kuiper. Fortunately, the line comes up very quickly. Wright finishes in 17th place, but that is a mistake that will really hinder his race 2 and might deny him the chance of getting within the reverse grid in race 3.
It might indeed, and there is, here we see the replay of it. It looks like
is it tap?
A little bit of contact.
I wonder if the stewards will have a look at that one, because Freitas coming, trying to come back. Didn't realise that Freitas had lost that position. Oh, well, apologies, of course. No, right, of course, got ahead mid-race, didn't he? And then Freitas trying to come back, but I wonder if the stewards may get involved in that one, because that has really hurt right there. So, Terje Flatson wins out then, 4.7 seconds ahead of Mats Borg Anderson. Then it was Mikael Freitas, once again Mr. Consistent, in third. Then it was Loyens, Crisp, Ask, Thanes, King, Hicks, Hagen, Woodhouse, Perry. Layson was top of the amateurs, just ahead of Scott Malcolm. Then it was Matt Daly and Neil Stevenson, Adam Wright, Niles de Kuiper, Sven Kalber, Ricardo Neto, Martin Shirley, Craig Schill, Sean Gardner, John Roberts, Chris Young, Joachim Goldbranson, Steve Grabowski and Jakub Szymanski, who I don't think took the start. So hopefully we see the Polish driver later on in the race. Or later on in the evening, apologies, in race 2 or race 3, but we did not see him in race 1. So now we go over to kind of this warm-up session or cool-down session, whatever it's going to be. I'll take this opportunity to thank the title sponsor for this series, Simutec. Of course, if you want to drive a professional motorsport simulator used by real racing drivers, be expertly coached and engineered to learn and navigate your way around some of the best circuits in the world in some of the best cars available, and also become a faster sim racer and get yourself on par with the esports pro drivers, go to simutec.co.uk. Huge thanks to them for supporting this series. So just got 2 more minutes to go, and yeah, it's looking real ominous for the guys out there, because Terje Flatson is seemingly so much faster than the rest of it. We did see a decent challenge, I guess, in race 1, DJ, and yeah, I mean, this could be a huge points haul for him, because it's not every day, and it's not been the case in the last couple of rounds that Terje has necessarily had this pace advantage. Maybe he's been the fastest driver, but not by the 3 or 4 tenths that he seems to have tonight. So he's really got to make sure he maximizes these points, because he could really make a big dent into that championship deficit which is established.
Yeah, he certainly could, and as you said, really not since the media day with Malcolm have we seen a dominant performance like this to come out. So if he is able to take victory here in race 2, as well as the second race will just be a straight up, no invert, how you finished in the first one, if he's able to get that good start and pull away again, that will really, really help him to be able to gain those positions back in. He'll have to do a little bit of work for the third race, but with the pace that we've seen him have, it is certainly not out of the realm of possibility that he can go for a hat trick here today.
Yeah, it would be, I think maybe did Laysons get a hat trick? I'm trying to think. You're certainly right that Malcolm got a hat trick in the media day. It would be quite something, and yeah, hugely important after a couple of disappointing rounds, particularly Imola, where I believe he was leading race 1 but got taken out on lap 1. And of course, once again, those race 1 results matter so much because it sets the grid for race 2, and of course most of the grid positions are set for race 3 as well. Currently the track temperature, we had it on screen just before, 65 degrees Fahrenheit. So very cool for the drivers. I think it's meant to be January though in Scotland, and as someone who is currently in Hampshire, in the very south parts of the UK, I think probably 8 degrees Celsius. I think really for this to be realistic, it should be around 40 degrees Fahrenheit. I think it was probably quite cool up in Scotland at the moment. But well, I dread to think what the grip would be like in those conditions. But yeah, hopefully we see that added to iRacing. Slightly wider range of temperatures, as Terje Flatson is out there in on pole position. Then it's Mats Borg Andersen, Miguel Freitas and Brian Loynes. Of course, it's the same order as what we saw in race 1 finishing order. So Flatson and Andersen once again the favourites. Yeah, let's see if Andersen can nail that start, because we did see good starts for Andersen and Freitas in race 1, I guess, DJ. So maybe they could be a threat off the line here.
They could indeed, and I think particularly Mats Andersen, one to watch out for. Again, as we are seeing, though, it continues to be Hyundai dominating around here, doing a really good job locking out those top 4 positions.
Yeah, best of luck to Tim Perry, highest placed Honda driver. Hopefully he can do that proud. Grabowski and Szymanski not on the grid. The rest are all prepped though. 5 lights for race 2 here at Knockhill. And away we launch. A really good start there for Flatson. He should be clear from Andersen. Good start for Crisp as well. He's got past Loynes, so another really strong start for him. And is he trying to get up into 3rd place as well? This would be an epic move there for Matthew Crisp as the championship leaders go alongside. Brilliant stuff there from Matthew Crisp. He's up into 3rd position. As hard into the wall goes Ricardo Neto, and also other drivers that got involved in this one. Roberts, I think Stevenson as well, and maybe Gulbrandsen gets involved in what was quite a messy turn 1 with many drivers popping up on my screen as being off the circuit. So Flatson leading the way, Crisp with a crucial advantage. Loynes also getting past Freitas, so it's been a poor start for the Portuguese right there. They head 2 by 2 further back. Paul King getting a slight tap from behind, but he's able to move into 7th position with a lot of pressure from Hagen, Thanes and Woodhouse behind.
Yeah, running in a little bit of formation here as they're going to be side by side going down into Duffus Dip, who is going to break later. It looks like Woodhouse is going to have the advantage. They shuffle back into single file order, but it still looks like that Ben Thanes is very, very hungry to try to work himself forward.
Ooh, huge slide there for Woodhouse. He had 2 offs there, I think, in race 1. And he has not cracked that corner yet. And he drops back down to 10th place, 2 places higher than where he started. And we'll have to be looking behind at Tim Perry soon. Getting close further up. So Freitas, yeah, just not with that start, and he's continued to drop back. Apologies, got back past Loynes, but he is... yeah, that's basically just good news for him. I was being negative, but no, that is good news for him that he is ahead into 4th position. Yeah, let's try to chase down the cars ahead as Malcolm trying to chase down Wright here, who of course fell back at the end of race 1. That's why he's so far down the order. One of the fast drivers out here is Adam Wright. He tips away onto the grass, and that seemed to really affect his acceleration out of that corner. Calvert still staying behind Malcolm, who's trying to follow the lines of Wright as best he can as that green and black car pulls away.
Yeah, just pulling away a little bit there from Scott Malcolm. Jumping back in the field, this is Sean Gardner as he tries to make his way around, trying to close in on the back of Craig Schill. Gardner did not have a good run out there, and he's going to have some company. Whoa, as we're side by side. Oh, that is some big contact with Schill and Gardner.
Yeah, suddenly saw Schill come out of nowhere, drifting through the hairpin. And yeah, I guess you're right that there was contact between the two of them. Stevenson, meanwhile, he's very tight on the inside. Wow, that was a huge cutback. I was certain that was going to be contact between the two of them. They were very lucky, or it was just perfect judgment there from Gulbrandsen. He moves ahead, and that's too much curb and gain for Stevenson. I think he's going to be able to keep Schill behind him for much longer, and yeah, he just does let him go there. I wonder if you get a replay actually of what happened to I think it was Stevenson of the starts and Gardner as well, because we saw quite a mess at turn 1 on lap 1. It did send a number of drivers down. This was right near the back really. So here was Stevenson, seemingly with a bit of a poor start. Are they going to go through? Well, this is Adam Wright just behind. Oh, he loses it all by himself, Stevenson. That was, well, the big wreck actually happened behind then, wasn't it? Yeah, Stevenson lost it by himself on those cold tyres.
Yeah, lost him by himself, and there is, I believe, there's Matt Daly, who had another off. We missed that one from him, but quite a few drivers having some problems there. Toughest step in McIntyre. Hard into the wall.
That seemed almost deliberate, that move into the wall there from Westhouse, but I don't think it is. I think he's lost the rear and not been able to stop it in time. Yeah, there you go. From this angle, it makes a bit more sense. And then Daly, oh, look at the rear end go, then gets onto the grass as well. And we don't usually hit that part of the wall too often, but just showing the difficulty of this Knockhill circuit. There are gravel traps, of course, everywhere. I mean, there's not really any places where the walls are excessively close. I believe they do motorbikes, and I'm not sure if they do British superbikes or not, but yeah, I think that it is certainly compatible. As Malcolm taking an alternative line. Now, will that be a slowdown? I have no idea.
I have to think it would be, but if Malcolm is smart about this, he can clean that slowdown over the course of about 30 seconds, just kind of lifting closer to the braking zones a little bit more. But Martin Shirley, who had an off himself, being very aggressive down into Taylor's, Malcolm, I think, is going to leave him a little bit of space, let him go a little bit more, and indeed, they're going to power their way on to the main straightaway here with Martin Shirley now ahead.
Oh, we got another one off at turn 2. Let's get like some special camera there. That's where all the action's happening. That's Brian Loynes. He was up in 4th place, did Loynes. But it's been a real bad day for him, as Scott Malcolm's now off the track. Oh, he was having such a good run with Scott, but we saw one car very close in front of him, one car very close behind him. And I wonder if this off had any relation to either. This was right on his tail, and yeah, maybe the stewards will have a look at that.
Yeah, that seems like Wright was just a little bit too close there, obviously giving that little bit of a love tap as we jump back. Matthew Crisp here under some attack from the 21 of Freitas.
This is important for the championship. Going into this round, Freitas was 1 point behind Crisp. After race 1, I think he might be 1 point ahead now. So this would, I think, get it back even. So, but it's very important, basically. And of course, we've also got to watch out for Flatson as well. He'll be making a big cuts into that championship lead after tonight. Asked really close to the back there of Freitas. Was very close to attempting a move. Brilliant exit right in the meanwhile. I think getting past Perry, so Wright is getting through the order. I mean, we expected him to get through the order, but he's getting through the order faster than I expected. He's only 12 seconds off the lead. And, well, he could catch up to that podium battle potentially if they continue to run.
Indeed, and with 13 minutes left to go here, there's still plenty of time for him to try to move his way forward, so certainly not out of the realm of possibility that he is able to get a very, very good run here for the closing stages of this race. Whoa, is there? We've got some more side-by-side. That's Ask getting very aggressive on Miguel Freitas.
Yeah, so Freitas losing that place allows Crisp to pull away. Freitas not under too much pressure. Very slow exit there for Hagen. It looked like I thought Hagen would be right in a good position to take advantage of the slow Freitas there, but instead the Ignium guys swap positions. They're not scoring points for the same team. You can see, you know, they've got different liveries, Ignium Motorsports versus Ignium Motorsports Blaze, but they certainly aren't going to race each other as hard. So King up to 6th place, he's up 2 places from his race start. And yeah, Freitas could maybe move back up to 3rd place, but yeah, these guys are just so evenly matched. So if you're not able to get the move done on the car ahead, you are just going to, it's just a matter of time until you receive an attack from behind. These 5 cars now separated by just 2 seconds, and then you can see Thanes and Wright just a little bit further in the background.
Yeah, indeed, just whipping through your view there. This is Thomas Layson, currently your highest placed AM driver, up in 12th overall. He's got 2 cars between himself and Sven Calbert to be able to have a nice little buffer in that AM standing, so he'll be pretty pleased with that. Obviously, with Scott Malcolm having to take repairs here, that is going to put Malcolm on the back foot and has granted this back over to Thomas Layson.
Oh, here comes a move from Hicks. Oh, he's going to try to brave it out there. Very slow, the pair of them, and this is going to open up the opportunity for Laysons to get past the pair. Is he able to do it? He's going to have to go the long way around. Will he get given any space on the outside? He was. I was generous there on the 35. As off the circuit there goes Young, who started way down the order. One of the fastest drivers out there is Chris Young. He had just nowhere to go around such a narrow circuit there. 2 by 2 heading into the hairpin. Bit of contact there on Young, and that forced him a bit wide. And it's really halted his momentum. But after all that, it was Layson who was able to take advantage. And I think Perry lost 3 places right there.
Indeed, he did. Very, very close battling there between everybody. We focus in now on Ben Hicks as he tries to get past Thomas Layson. But Thomas doing a very good job to just keep everything under control while under some very, very serious pressure there. I'm very impressed with that driving. That is not an easy thing to do when you have got that many cars streaming up your 6.
I believe Wright has an issue there because you can see he's not very far ahead of these drivers now, so I think he's just lost, yeah, he lost, well, it wasn't too bad for him. He lost a second. No, 3.5 seconds. There you go, 3.5 seconds he lost with a mistake on this lap. Right, so that's a shame for him, but he should be safe from the curves ahead. He's just not going to be able to catch up to the drivers ahead, it seems. Oh, it's getting really close now behind Crisp. Ask 0.2 of a second behind. This could be a move. Here we go. Up the inside. Wasting no time, Ask. And there's contact. Crisp tried to stay around the outside, but it was inevitable that there was never going to be a car's width on the outside. Freitas crucially moves ahead, and Freitas sees the opportunity at a podium, but he cannot afford to leave himself vulnerable because you know Chris would just try to get up the inside here, and that is exactly what he's done. And Freitas now runs the risk of being boxed in here. Even if he does have some good speed, he may not be able to move to his right. And these guys are not going to give in easy. We get a great view of it from Paul King. There goes Freitas. Where's he going to rejoin the circuit? Does he make contact? He does. And I think he's going to make more contact. And you can see they both rejoin the track. And that's 2 of the championship contenders with big damage. And after a season of consistency for Crisp and Freitas, maybe they were too desperate for a fickle position there.
I think that was a little bit of the red mist descending on these drivers as we come back to check out this replay. very, very close quarter racing here. You can see they bang doors a little bit coming down. Freitas just trying to hold on to it the best that he can. Oh, that car just looked like it absolutely snapped on him the minute that he got back on track. Very, very surprising. You talked a little bit earlier, Sam, about how the cars like to grip up a little bit when they get onto the racing tarmac. And I think that's exactly what happened, and Freitas just wasn't prepared for it.
Yeah, it's could be a huge change and brilliant news for this man, Terje Flatsen. He was already going to score a lot of points, but this is even more beneficial. And they're not even going to be... Well, Crisp is still 8th, so he will most likely be within the reverse grid, but now there's a huge train behind Crisp. We've got 6 cars, separated by 2 seconds, I think. There they are, and Crisp is surely going to be struggling down the straights as well. Here comes Layson, who's already been quite aggressive tonight, and Crisp has got no speed, but Layson gets onto the grass. Oh, he's able to keep it on the tarmac at least, but there goes 4 positions. Keeps the amateur lead. But, if he'd been able to pull off that move, then he could have really made a jump for it, because Crisp has got no straight line speed. Once again, he's going to surely not risk it as much as he did on the last lap, knowing the perils that can come at the start of this lap. And it's Young who's able to get past, but Crisp is still fighting. He's fighting everyone at the moment. And this surely cannot end well for him. He's got to back out of this one, otherwise there's going to be more content. He does back out of it, and it's Young who moves ahead. But I don't think Crisp is going to be able to keep any of these guys behind, because every time he goes onto a straight, he's losing half a second.
Yeah, definitely some damage to that Audi TCR, as now it's going to be Ben Loynes looking around the outside, and that number 2, it'll be coming the inside here for the hairpin, and that's going to be Ben Hicks also having to move up to the inside. And don't forget about Tim Perry, who's also looking aggressive. Crisp is just bleeding positions here.
And now he is almost certainly going to be outside of the reverse grid, so this has gone dreadfully for the British driver. As I see, we've got actually 7 British drivers in a row. Ooh, Layson's off, and Perry's off. And that is dreadful news there for the championship leader in the amateur class. And a surefire race win has very quickly gone away from Layson. Just a couple of laps ago, he was going to move up into 10th position overall. He's down to 19th now and miles away from the rest.
Yeah, he's got about a 3.5 second disadvantage up to Craig Schill. Thomas Layson does, so that has really, really put him off of it. So he has got to try to hustle here. Only about 5 minutes left to go. Oh, that is Mark Woodhouse having another off from the back.
Yeah, he's having an awful day. Woodhouse is taking an interesting route back onto the track. Roberts versus Will Branson. I assume that, so Roberts on that last lap he actually lost that position there, so Gilbertson faster. Gilbertson's having a really good drive. He's up 11 places, but Roberts, to be fair, only starts in 24th place, so he's doing well as well. Oh, is that Woodhouse in the wall again? Oh man, yeah, he does not like this circuit, does Mark Woodhouse. Here comes Roberts, what a run that is. And he's got alongside, I think the car ahead is going to be able to cover that one off. They'll be being told by their spots, there's car on your left, car on your right, even when there's just a millimetre or so alongside. Roberts with a very tight line, not taking too much of the curb. He did a good job there, and that has helped him to stay ahead just in front of them. Shirley up to 13th place now. He is up 8 places from his race start. Perry trying to go round his outside at the moment. Roberts braking late, and he is able to get past Will Branson. Meanwhile, Perry gets back past Shirley. Oh, opportunistic move there from Roberts. Just saw his opponent brake early, and he was not going to waste that opportunity, and he also moves past Will Branson.
Great move there for Roberts. Sometimes that's how you got to be. Just recognize the disadvantage. Ooh, we've got a little bit of a schmozzle in the back here. This is Niels de Kuiper trying to hold on the best as he can. Martin Shirley also under attack.
Yeah, he's going defensive. Here we go. Big launch. A couple of times within millimetres of contact with the Honda of Schill. boosted. Staying ahead, but that Honda seems to be struggling for pace. Not sure if that's an inherent car thing set up or just the exit, but it lost him time either way, and he's down 3 places now. Is pretty sure that will be annoying for him. Very few Hondas, of course, does seem to be the least popular car out on track, which is a shame. I think it might be my favourite looking car, actually. It's also, I think it might be the smallest as well, which I think Knockhill is quite a handy thing for wheel-to-wheel battling.
Yeah, indeed. You want to be able to try to have as little car as possible to slip to the inside of some of these very, very tight and twisting corners. But we continue to watch here. Little battle starting to shape up. This is Calbert and Crisp. Chris, remember, just bleeding positions after that incident, losing a lot of time, and that'll demote him down to 12th.
Calbert very much under the radar, dare I say, this whole season. Just having a look as to where he is in the championship. He is currently 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 in the championship on 44 points, albeit level with Neil Stevenson just in front of him. I think this result will be putting up him some places, maybe P5. So very impressive either way, because he is a long way clear of the next amateur driver, Oliver Gould-Branson. What's that? Schill just coming back against De Kuiper, so good effort there from the boosted Gone Postal. I'm not quite sure what boosted Gone Postal is. I don't know if this is a new rival to Royal Mail or something, but that is the name of the team, and yeah, certainly linking this up in the centre.
Indeed, he is. So good drive there from Craig Schill. Looking up ahead of them, Thomas Layson trying to recover here a little bit, get something past Martin Shirley. Not able to get anything going down into Duffus Dip, but he's going to keep hounding that number 105 ahead to the best of his abilities.
Yeah, he might have a chance here. Here's Layson. And of course, Layson should be much faster than these other drivers, really. So should be able to move up into third. Here he goes. Flemish Sim Sports. Oh, he's been able to force his rival offline, but that was a good patience there from Shirley. Managed to still get it stopped and got a strong exit. So he will stay in that position. These races have really gone by very quickly. And remember, just a reminder, for race 2 and race 3, apologies, for race 3, there will be a reverse grid applied to the pro field and a reverse grid applied to the amateur field. They will be totally segregated. They will not be starting on the grid in amongst one another. Instead, the pros will be ahead of the AMs, and a reverse grid will be applied to each. So, and that could be between 6 and 12 cars for each. It should be, it can be a different number for each one. So out in the lead, this man has been leading, no surprise. Anderson, to be credit, has driven really well. He's only 2 seconds behind, but he's never been able to get anywhere close to the race leader. It looks like it's going to be 2 race wins once again, and we saw that last time out for Matthew Crisp, but it is Terje Flatson's turn to take that. Double one is going to get his second first place of the evening. Terje Flatson wins at Knockhill ahead of Anson. All Norwegian top 3, all Norwegian top 4, even ahead of Hagen. And Thanes will finish in 5th place. Meanwhile, Young, with a really strong drive, he is up 17 places from his start. Or will it be 16? I think 17 should be safe. There he is, across the line, he finishes 8th. And Cal Burr will score a surprise amateur race win, because he was not especially close to Layson earlier on, but a couple of mistakes from Layson has certainly aided Cal Burr. Really good drive besides that though. He finishes in 11th, and Crisp finishes in 12th, so he's 11th out of the pros. So it is possible that Crisp could be on reverse grid pole or reverse grid second place, but it is unlikely for the former championship leader. And of course, with Freitas all the way down in 24th, he is also not looking strong out there for coming up to race 3. So yeah, just yeah, really good work there from Flats, and once again DJ, as we see a bit of batting there. It must be frustrating for Anderson because certainly in that race, maybe more so than in race 1, he was really close to Vlatsen, and if Vlatsen weren't out there, we'd be saying how dominant Anderson is, and instead he kind of gets almost a bit forgotten out there.
Yeah, playing a little bit second fiddle there to his fellow countrymen, but a very, very good drive from the both of them. And one way or the other, Anderson will be starting ahead of Flatten, and so now the real thing is going to be going into this second race is, yes, we know both of them have the speed, but do they have the overtaking ability to get themselves forward? That's really what it going to comes down to.
Thanks to Adam Hedgecock. He says, Boosted Gone Postal is a boosted team with both drivers work for Royal Mail. So it's a play on their work vehicles. Yep, thanks for that information. Hopefully you are well, Adam. Here is our final results then. Flatson up there. Anderson in second place, Ask and Hagen rounding out the top 4. Then it was Ben Thanes, Adam Wright, Paul King, Chris Young up 17 places, Brian Loynes and Ben Hicks in 10th place. Then top of the amateurs was Sven Kalberg. Crisp was in 12th. Perry could be on reverse grid. Polhi will be the last eligible spot. Then it will be Roberts, Gulbranson, Shirley, second and third in the amateurs. Then it was Layson, Schill, De Kuiper, Stevenson, Malcolm, Neto, Woodhouse, Freitas, Daly, Gardner, Grabowski, and Szymanski. All of a sudden, we got how to beat them, but it was alright because those two didn't even take the start. So frankly, me reading out their names is a service to them. So they should be grateful about. I think we might have the reverse. No, we don't. Apologies. So that is we will find out soon though. But for now, we're going to take a break on Apex Racing TV in this coverage of the Simutec TCR Winter Series. We will take a break, but of course, don't go anywhere. We've got race 3 coming up in probably about 10 minutes time or so, so keep tuned for the final race of the evening. We'll see you back in just a moment. Welcome back to Apex Racing TV and round 3 of the Simutec TCR Winter Series here at Knockhill. We've already had 2 races this evening. We have got one more 20-minute race to come up, but with a reverse grid. And DJ, it is a couple of big reverse grids. 12 cars in the pros, which by our reckoning means that Perry and apologies, my mind is going totally blank at this moment, but Perry on pole position, and then 9 cars in the amateurs. I think that's the biggest reverse grids we've seen so far this season, and yeah, will make a huge difference.
Yeah, it very much will, especially at a track like this where there's only a couple of really good overtaking opportunities. I think it means that you're going to see a lot of aggression coming from the back of the field, with faster drivers very anxious to try to push their way forward as quickly as possible. It is certainly going to set everything up for what will be a very exciting third race here today.
Matthew Crisp was the other driver I was trying to think about. He will be starting P2, which, considering his difficulties in race 2, is of great fortune for him, and will still have a good chance at being championship leader after tonight. Very kind of default question, DJ. I always ask it, but you know, I think it's always relevant. Can Terje Flatson, our race winner from both races so far tonight, can he win this race 3? In fact, you know, through Mats Borgansen, because those two seem to be in a class of their own, but they'll be starting down in 11th and 12th for this race 3.
Well, I think he's got a chance to, with just the outright pace that we've seen Flatson have here today. He certainly has the opportunity to move himself forward, but with as big of a reverse grid as we're talking about, plus with just as tricky as it is to get by, I've got to think that the odds are massively stacked against him. If he can pick up a podium or a top 5 out of this, I think that will be a good third race for Terje.
Yeah, I think that's a good shout, getting those consistent points on the board. He's worked so hard to get back those points so far tonight, and has very much earned them. As we see, the track temperature has increased quite a bit. We're up to 72 degrees Fahrenheit, albeit still quite cloudy. As yep, well, not even quite cloudy. That's the cloud scenario at the moment. It is cloudy, to use the perfect word. Quite windy as well. I think that's 16 miles an hour, which might make a bit of the difference. iRacing does simulate that stuff. Matthew Crisp then on pole position. Then it's Paul King, Igor Freitas, Martin Shirley. Now, why is he there? I'm not quite sure, because usually it's the pros and then the amateurs are all behind. But I'm not sure if there was maybe an error in the grid, but apologies, no, we've got a different grid. Oh, here we go. I was very concerned there, because the admins are really good on this. They wouldn't make such a mistake. There is Perry though. He is on pole position. I don't know what we were showing. Maybe the warm-up results. Then it's Crisp, Hicks, Loins and Co. You can see Flatson down there in 12th. And then in the amateurs, we've got Ricardo Neto on pole position. Scott Malcolm in 2nd. Then it's Stevenson, De Kuiper, Shill Layson, Shirley Goldbranson, Calbert and Daly. Calbert, so only 10 drivers in the amateurs, and Calbert then will be starting 2nd to last after a really good race 2 performance. So Crisp really needs these points if he can possibly get them. Can Perry get a win for Honda? We are away racing for race 3 of the evening. Strong start for the guys on the front row of the grid. It's a poor start for Loins. Really good start for Paul King. He's up into 4th position straight away. That's just what he needed. Perry holds on against Chris heading into turn 1 as the top 3 pull away. There he goes, sliding off the circuit. That was Ben Thames. Oh, he got another couple of cars off. That's right. Can he rejoin it in the correct place? No, he cannot, and he makes contact with Hagen, I believe that was. And a few other cars I'm sure would have been disrupted. Right, maybe with too much damage to continue. Great start from Mark Woodhouse, I'm seeing. Also great start for Hakon Ask as well. They're up 5 and 4 positions respectively. Also great work from Scott Malcolm. He now leads in the amateurs. He's up 5 places overall.
He's up 5 places and has breathing room with the form of Sean Gardner in between them. There is Miguel Freitas and Mats Anderson as they do get out a little bit. Freitas able to get that move done. Even starting to take a look at your winner of the first 2 races, Terje Flatson, and that's going to be the car to tuck up behind, I think, as Flatson makes a move here on Mark Woodhouse.
Not a great start for Flatson, considering. That's right, and King kind of got out of his way, didn't really make any moves besides that, did Flatson. And here comes Freitas, who's wasting no time. Oh, contact between the two of them. Freitas still fighting this one. They get through the corner though. Wow, that was close, and these are the tricky scenarios of the reverse grids where you can so easily have contact with another driver. And well, I think that should really be a hurry-up call there for Flatson. They need to start moving up through the order so that guys like Freitas don't try to attempt a move on him. Meanwhile, Hicks is attempting Crisp. Now, I thought this would be the other way around. I thought Crisp would be catching up to Perry, but maybe it was a mistake from him. And yeah, he's really under pressure a bit. No, I think it's literally just pace that he's dropping back. I don't see any poor sector times for him. So this is allowing Perry to pull away out in the lead, while Crisp tries to hold off the rest.
Yeah, tries to hold him off, and he's doing a good job thus far, but he's got to be a little bit careful. Perry's starting to grow that gap up to about 0.5 of a second. So a good job there from Tim Perry to just try to pull away a little bit. Ben Hicks also has to be looking out of his rear view mirror because that's Chris Young behind him, and Young looks like he's got some good space in that Hyundai.
Woodhouse off the circuit, but I don't mean this disrespectfully to Mark. It would be more news if he was on the circuit, because he has been off the track so many times tonight. I'm sure he'll be back up to form come the final 2 races of the season. There goes Freitas, and look at his teammate as well. Oh, contact, they're like, I think they'll merge together for a bit there. It seemed like they just could not detach, and I think there may have been further contact. 69 with a drive-through penalty. That's Ben Thanes. He was one of the cuts off. As Perry, he's now off the circuit, and I think that's a solo issue, is it? Crisp was quite close, but that's a huge shame because I thought we might see a Honda win a race, which considering that there's about 3 of them out on track would have been quite something here tonight. He's down to 17th place. We'll, I'm sure, get a replay of that incident very soon. Means that Crisp now leads this event, and yeah, means that we've basically got a lead group of about 5 cars out in the lead. So it was probably contact then. Perry defending to the inside. Does Crisp be over aggressive here? Oh, maybe he was. I wonder if the stewards will have a look.
Yeah, the stewards may have a little bit of a look. I think he just misjudged his braking zone. Wasn't really anticipating that Perry was going to brake that early. Ooh, as we've got another car off there. Oh, and that is a hard lick.
Young and Loins off. Now were they were at the front, I think, Young and Loins, no? There's Loins off the track in 18th. Yeah, sorry, I thought they may have towed back to the pits, but no, they are out on track. So yeah, what happened to these guys? And Youngs can't seem to get back onto track. This was the lead pack, and we're watching Loins at the moment here. Someone's spinning in front, so you can see the defensive moves. Oh wow, there were 3 wide at one point. Unfortunately for Ask, he was able to get through all of that, but for the other guys it wasn't so lucky. Loins had to take a very long detour to get back on the track. He's actually on the rallycross circuit out there. And it has very much thinned out our lead pack.
It has indeed. This is running on board part of Neto. Whoa! I'm not sure if that was a little bit of a love tap from behind or if he just had a little bit of wheel spin. Oh, and there is that big thump we saw him have coming up, making contact with that inside retaining wall.
Oh, Malcolm's off, and he was in the lead of the abs. And now Layson's off, he was in the lead of the abs. Layson's got back on quite quick. A couple of quick changes there, and Daly is now up into 11th position. Woodhouse off again, albeit that seemed to be a smaller time off there. As Platinum moves up to 4th, he's 1.6 seconds off the lead, and we're only 5 minutes into the race. He could definitely win it from here. I think it was a good shout, honestly, to say that he would be in the podium, but I think with the way that we're seeing other drivers go off, it has made it a lot easier for him. Look at that fast lap of the race as well. That last round he was 0.6 faster. Well, sorry, I mean 2 seconds faster than Matthew Crisp that last time round. And is that Crisp with a penalty? It is a Crisp with a penalty. We knew that the stewards were going to have a look at it. And Matthew Crisp, I got it wrong for the first time tonight. He is going to have to come into the pits. And, well, he had the fortune of the reverse grid front right, and he hasn't taken use of it. And the driver who's been so consistent this season, so consistent. has really made a couple of bad errors tonight, and we'll see if he comes into the pit straight away. Flatson moves up into 3rd position, and he might even be into the lead in just a few moments' time. But Crisp decides to stay out, and that's dreadful news there for Hakon Ask, because I'm sure he'd love to have a clear track in front of him.
Indeed, and I think for Crisp here, he's going to try to delay this penalty as long as possible. Try to build as much of a gap as he can. Really go for broke over these next couple of laps before he serves the penalty. See if he can get a little bit farther ahead and maybe just try to avoid some traffic on pit exit.
I mean, he wants to avoid traffic, but if he's defending like this, he's just going to be losing time anyway. So I don't know how much it's worth. Here comes the move, and this could be a great opportunity for Flatson because Asker's putting himself offline. And of course, Crisp can't get into the pits here if Asker's on his outside. So will he just slot in behind? Ask tries to get the cut back. Now will Crisp come into the pits this time? He will do. So they are now clear. The 1-3-4 with the penalty. That's a bit further down from the amateur drivers. That is Nasty Koiba. Good work there from Sam Kume to find who that was in 15th position. Will he come into the pits? Yeah, he makes the move to the pits immediately there. So it's just being busy in this race 3. So Ask leading the way, 0.3 of a second ahead of Teo Flatson, who's really got the position here. He's got 12 minutes to decide really how he is going to overtake the driver ahead.
Yeah, he's got all the time in the world. We jump back here. This is Mats Anderson trying to close down on Miguel Freitas up ahead of him. Freitas doing a good job to move his way up through the field. He is up 10 spots.
And there goes the swap. Flatson leads the way. And it looks like we could see our first hat-trick, at least in the pro standings so far this season. Really good work there from Flatson, and in 8 minutes he's gone from 12th, the biggest reverse grid we can have in this series, to the race lead. Brilliant stuff from him, and seeing that they're all Igneo Motorsports, top 4 Igneo Motorsports, it was quite inevitable that they weren't going to be fighting too much. Flatson having that in his advantage, albeit I don't think that's been a significant reason why he's out in the front. I think is his pace, and to be honest, his patience as well has really served him very impressively. It should be quite easy from him from here on in. Anderson's going to be very close to a move to Freitas. Here he goes. Freitas half covered it off, and Freitas is going to go for the move as well. There's contact between all 3 of them, and it's the 37 who's moved out of the way. Hagen has moved out of the way, and that might be another instant to be reviewed.
It may indeed. Going 3 wide there into Taylor's hairpin. Not exactly the most advisable move around here. And I've got to say, one of those drivers needed to really be looking at backing out of that attack, just because there was no way 3 were going to go into that corner successfully.
Yeah, they were very fortunate not to have a spin. We've seen plenty of spins around the hairpin so far tonight, and it seems like if you get onto the inside of that corner, it can be very tricky to get back going, particularly in these front-wheel drive cars where a kind of a 180 turn is very tricky. So now donuts across in this car are absolutely impossible. Here comes Anderson once again, and this time I think he is going to get Freitas. Freitas being able to move back ahead across the line. Brilliant battle in between these 2 drivers. This could well turn into a battle for 2nd position. Contact between the pair. Freitas is off the track. Can he rejoin in a safe manner? He had problems rejoining in race 2 around this part of the track. This time it's a lot more safe, and he remains in 5th place, albeit he's off the track again. I think that was a slowdown.
I think it may have been, and he may have picked up one there as well, so he's got to be a little bit careful. That's going to allow for Thor Gunnar Hagen to go on by.
Oh, what's he doing?
I'm not sure.
This is reminding me of Super Trucks, Apex Racing League Super Trucks, where the slowdowns are so minimal that you cut all the corners. This is not what we usually see in the Simutec TCR Winter Series. Freitas, something's going on with him because he's still driving very slow.
Sam, if you looked at his wheel when he was driving straight, it was just slightly cockeyed. There is damage to the suspension of that car. Yeah, there you can see it on your screen.
I wonder if you go back a lap then, because I think he went over the bumps, didn't he? But did he actually make contact with any other car?
I mean, there was this slight bang in the doors that he had with Matt Anderson, but it may have just been that excursion over the grass that was enough to bump it out.
Maybe curbs as well. Could have got damage from it. So yeah, whatever it is, bad news. And again, this has been a remarkable night with, or particularly this race, well, particularly race 2 and race 3, with the top 2 in the championship having problems with flats. And I thought you'd just be able to maybe half the gap in the championship. I think you might be the championship leader after tonight, even though he came into tonight with quite a deficit. Right, apologies, that's Roberts fighting very hard with Ben Thanes, who was starting much further up, wasn't he, Thanes? But he got a penalty, I want to say, Thanes, didn't he? And I guess he served that, did he? I believe it was Thanes with a penalty.
Yeah, I believe it was as well, Sam. Definitely just had a penalty, came in through the pits, and that's what put him down the order. So pretty good position. Oh, as that's Lason's around.
Oh, it could be big for the championship. Lason's, I'm sure, will still be championship leader after tonight, but that's made things a little bit more tricky for him. And an unforced error from a driver. He certainly at Imola, and then the first race tonight looked imperious. First 1.5 races, and then he's made 2 mistakes since then. And oh no, it was contact, wasn't it, with the 92 with Brian Loynes? Gosh, well, that's his main championship contender as well.
Yeah, it is indeed. And there you see just what happened to him, and going off of that, it's going to ruin his race. So the stewards may have a little bit of a look there at the 92 and see what they have to say about that.
I hope the stewards are well compensated, because they are going to have to look in 100 different directions for all these incidents. Here's the battle for P3, Hicks versus Anson. If I'm honest, with the pace that Anson has shown tonight, this should be just a matter of when, not if. As Loynes seemingly, I was thinking maybe, did he have damage from that previous incident? I think that's just a separate crash for him, or separate off for him. It seems to have lost him 3 places there. Cal Burr having a lot of speed. Oh, he had to kind of slow down quite a bit, bogged down in the middle of the corner. Still the better exit though compared to Shirley. Cal Burr is in 13th place. The man who had a very good race 2, of course, winning in the amateur category. That's a tight line for Stevenson. Gets it done though, stopped it on the apex. And Stevenson also moves past Martin Shirley, but Shirley's trying to come back. If anything, that just lost him a bit more time.
Yeah, indeed. You've got to be careful about where you take those overtakes here. It needs to be high percentage moves. You don't need to be trying to back off, and or you don't need to be making an overtake every single lap. Sometimes it's just better to hold it out a little bit longer.
Yeah, I'm sure Loynes will not be hesitating at all. I imagine he'll be quite annoyed, so I don't think he'll quite be taking that sensible approach necessarily. Yeah, I think he will be quite frustrated up there. And, well, could he maybe get a drive-through penalty as well? I mean, it should be added that, I mean, like the Formula 1 stewards usually take quarter of an hour minimum to make a decision. These guys are having to make a decision every couple of minutes. So excellent work from all the Sim Racers World staff, who of course put on several fantastic championships. This is just one of them, and thanks to them for yeah, of course, giving up their time for this live race stewarding. Really does add an element to the racing, as Hicks is doing a marvellous job of keeping behind Matt Borg. Anson, it's really helping out Hakon Ask as well. Anson, the only non-Ignium Motorsports driver in this top 5. They might try to be working tactically together. He's got to be a bit more ambitious. Look at that really tight line. Really, I mean, that's straight lining Anson there. He doesn't even want to open up the corner, just want to straight line it. Super deep on the brakes. He's got it done, a bit of contact, but that's all fine. And, well, moving through from that as well was Thor Gunnar Hagen. Will Hagen be able to set an attack on Anson? I think he will defend all the way to the inside for the Norwegian driver. And we're back to a Norwegian 1-2-3 once again. 1-2-3-4, apologies.
We are indeed, as it just seems the Norwegians can't be stopped here today. You see Ben Hicks trying to poke his nose a little bit on Thor Gunnar Hagen, but just not able to get it done. It looks like there is a lot of speed there out of it. Hicks just, I think, a little bit of a sitting duck on those last couple of laps.
Yeah, he's a strong driver, is Ben Hicks, but not quite sort of the elite level of some of these other drivers. Basically, he's not Norwegian, is what I'm saying. That's what's letting him down. Maybe he's got a Norwegian mother. Maybe he should change his nationality, because it seems to be the important thing. Great to see that nation, which hasn't got. Well, okay. I don't believe they've got any Formula 1 drivers in the past, and I was about to say they don't have much motorsports history, but I knew that I was gonna really annoy some people who will say list 10 legendary Norwegian drivers, but at least in Formula 1 I think they've ever had a driver. But in sim racing they are excellent, so good work to them. Brian Noynes, by the way, passed Stevenson, but that's not worked. That's not worked at all, because he's now dropped behind Stevenson, Shirley, and well, even our time has been thought he was going to come into the pits there. He was so far.
Yeah, indeed. Just a little bit of door banging coming through Taylor's once again, getting into the closing stages of this race. These drivers are really, really pushing around here, and that's him around.
Oh, Loins is he's been in the wars in this race 3, and I didn't see a clear view of that, so I'm not sure whose fault that was. We've also had a problem for Ben Thanes, who I think has dropped 3 places. And now Daly is he's defending against Tim Perry. He started on pole position at Costa Bay, but got hit out by the driver who started P2, Matthew Crisp, of course. Oh, here is Crisp. Crisp doing very well, considering he got a drive through penalty. He's doing terrifically well. And he's trying to get past Woodhouse. Not able to do it. Woodhouse, oh, he's off the circuit again. It's another spin for Woodhouse, and also off the track for Crisp, who hits the wall. Fortunately, that seemed to be with the rear, so he should be alright, but we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, that looked like a pretty heavy side swipe into the wall, so he may be able to get away with it. Obviously, you can see that dangling wing mirror there. Not looking like there's a whole lot of damage. He could have picked up a little bit of suspension problems there, but a bad day going a little bit worse there, as Neil Stevenson also enjoying a little off track.
Is that Crisp? I don't know how Crisp is still up there. I don't know how he's 11th. It is a really short pit lane. I mean, you just realised it is like the shortest pit lane in all of iRacing. I think there's literally 12 pit stalls. Maybe Sukaba might be shorter. Might be a rival. But that's why I guess the drivers who have had drive-throughs haven't lost as much time, because it's probably only a 10-second loss around here compared to maybe a 20-second loss at Monza, particularly before they increase the pit lane limit speed. So the white flag is out. Another race which is absolutely flown by. They all have tonight. In another exciting evening of racing, not quite as action-packed as Imola. I don't think anything will match that to the end of the season. But for Terry Clapton, it has been dominant, and that's just how he'd like it, as we see once again Matt Daly defending for his worth against Perry. Danes is catching up to these guys, but if he keeps up this rate, he's not going to catch up in time. He'd need the lap to be about 3 times longer in order to catch up. They're also catching up to Woodhouse, but out in the lead is going to be 3 from 3 for Terry Clapton, and maybe even the championship lead. It was looking like a long shot for him to win the title. He is no doubt the favourite after tonight. It's been a brilliant drive from Ignium Motorsports, and Terry Clapton, number 11, takes another race win at Knockhill. He has been dominant tonight. Ask finishes in 2nd place. Anderson gets his 3rd podium of the evening. Will Daly be able to hold on against Perry? He has done really good effort, and it's an amateur race win for Matt Daly. I believe his first of the season. I might be wrong on that one, but I think that's certainly his best drive of the season. In the background, Loins, he's had 2 crashes already in this race. I think he'll get 16th, but not the race he liked whatsoever. He finishes in 16th place. overall, just ahead of Schill and De Kuiper. I mean, maybe it just shows, you know, how quickly these things can change, DJ, because, yeah, like I was saying, Flatson was not the favourite for the championship after tonight, and then we see almost a total reversal in roles. Flatson super cautious and well-mannered in race 3, and then seemingly, you know, we had Crisp and Freitas ignoring kind of the driving the driving tactics that have proved so well for them so far this season, with them guys being over aggressive and it getting them in a lot of trouble.
Indeed. I mean, it's sometimes you get to a little circuit like this, more of a club circuit, where it is harder to pass, and you have drivers that just push their way ahead, that they take that over aggressiveness because they feel they need to get their way up forward, and it just came back to bite drivers like Crisp here today. And it's a complete reversal of the championship, but that's what happens when you can have these 3 races coming in just 1, 2, 3 as quickly as they do.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Yeah, them being so close, so many races in a night. Yeah, it can really look and happen in that time. There is Terje Flatson, then third race win of the evening ahead of Ask. Anderson should not be understated. He was terrific tonight, and if Flatson wasn't here, maybe could have got even all race wins. I don't know, but really good job from him. There was, in fact, actually, I think it was P3 at one point, but anyway, he did well for New Motorsports. Then it was Chris Young, who came back after a very disappointing race 1 for a couple of decent results in race 2 and race 3. Then it was Mark Woodhouse, who beat Matt Daly, who was top of the amateurs. Then it was Tim Perry, Ben Thanes, Matthew Crisp, John Roberts, Sven Kalber, Martin Shirley, Joachim Goldbranson, Brian Loynes, Craig Schill, Niles De Kuiper, Sean Gardner, Neil Stevenson, Scott Malcolm, Miguel Freitas, Thomas Layson, Ricardo Netzo, Paul King, and Adam Wright. I wonder if you get a replay actually of that race start involving Wright and Kai. I don't think we ever got a replay of it. Of course, we saw it happen live. But it was the craziest race start that we've had tonight, and it could have been worse because we had drivers going over the grass, rejoining the circuit, and it got really messy. Unfortunately, I can't see this one, but oh, in fact, I can see this one. So you already see the Ignium Motorsports car sliding off the track. Then Wright gets forced off by the 99, who is I'm not quite sure who the 99 is. Ask, sorry, who finished second place in the end actually, and then yeah, Wright making contact with a couple of others.
Yeah, I think that is the absolute definition of a kerfluffle there, Sam. Just all of those drivers just nowhere to go, and a lot of hapless passengers, unfortunately, getting caught out in that, just being at the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah, really messy stuff. The Ignium Motorsports car, not sure if that was... I mean, there's a lot of them actually. Or was it a different car? Not quite sure. But a lot happening, and yeah, that's part of the reason why we kind of had such a disruptive race start, but most of those drivers at least getting away without too much damage. So we will have an interview with sorry, I'm just reading a message and just understood what it was referencing. So Petter Solberg, apologies. Petter Solberg, I assume a Norwegian racing driver. I didn't say that Norway didn't have any famous racing drivers. I didn't go that far, but I was about to. So thank you for correcting me on that, and that's why I don't say stuff about stuff that I don't know about. So yeah, thank you to Anton Dupan there for proving that Norway has a rich motorsports heritage right there. So yeah, we'll see what interviews are we going to get. Well, I'm going to be very selfish and drag in our triple race winner tonight, Terje Flatson. Congratulations, Terje. You were in a league of your own, it seemed, tonight. Maybe that race 2, Matt's got a bit close, but that was pretty much it. Were you expecting to be so far ahead of the rest, and do you have any idea why you were so far ahead of the rest?
No, I didn't expect it before the race, but just a couple of hours before the call started, I tested positive for COVID, so maybe that was the reason tonight.
Maybe. Well, that's well. Hopefully you are all well. I hopefully you haven't got any symptoms, and I hope, of course, you stay healthy. But yeah, well, it was not hurting you whatsoever out there. In qualifying, you're 0.4 of a second clear. Talk us through those kind of first two races and most of the third race, honestly, because out in the lead here at Knockhill, it's a very easy circuit to make mistakes. How were you able to kind of keep your concentration levels up? Was that a bit tricky to keep that intensity out there?
Yeah, for sure. It was. It's a lot more difficult to be alone in the front, and you are watching the relative all the time out of every corner, seeing if the guy behind catches you or you pull away from him. And I just tried to stay calm and brake maybe a bit too soon rather than too late, and focusing on my exit speeds. And in race 2 I was following the battle for third, fourth, and fifth, and that's why Mats was catching me in the second race, because I was looking at Håkon and Tor Gunnar and hoping that they could, one of them could get the last podium place. And yeah, in race 3 I was kind of lucky all the way. Got some damage in the first lap, so I thought it was going to be quite hard to even get the podium, but the rest of the guys crashed in front of me, and I'm lucky to have such a great team that they were just telling me to go on the inside in the last corner, and I could pull away.
Yeah, your teammates certainly helped on that occasion, but it was still, very good heads-up driving from yourself. Going into this round, I wasn't totally convinced that you'd have a great chance at the championship. I mean, a decent points deficit had created. I think you're on maybe 65, whilst the leaders were on 95 points. I mean, after tonight, you might be championship leader. I mean, that was an incredible kind of turn of fates.
Yeah, this was the first race meeting that I wasn't been sent off in the first lap of race 1. So I also thought that the championship was over, and I was just gonna send it tonight and see what would happen. And it can't go much better than it did tonight, so I'm really, really happy.
Yeah, as you should be. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, Terje?
Yeah, of course, Igne Motorsport and Paul King. They've been helping me a lot before the race, and also my fellow Norwegian guys. We've been top 4 Norwegian in race 2 and race 3. So, and of course my family, my girlfriend, my mom, who is always watching every single race I do. So yeah, thanks to them.
Awesome. Well, I hope that you don't feel too horrible over the next few days, Terje, and I hope you are back to full fitness for the penultimate race of the season. Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you so much, Sam.
Terje, if that's in there, your triple race winner tonight. DJ, who would you like to check up now?
I'm gonna bring up our second place finisher here in the third round, rather. Hakan Ask. It seemed like a pretty crazy race there, and you never really were out of the battle too much there.
No. Yeah, Knockhill is quite a chaotic track, so I'm pretty happy to just come through with, I think, 15 incident points in the 3 races total. So, yeah, I'm quite happy.
Well, I'm curious, on such a crazy tight track like this, how does this change your mentality about driving? Are you in a little bit more of an attacking mode because you know that overtaking is limited, or you are a little bit more of a survival mode just because of the insanity?
No, I try to just keep it calm, actually. Don't drive too aggressively to take them on the exits of the corner, because the only chance you have to pass people on this track is out of the chicane and in the last corner, almost. So if you get a good exit, you have a chance, or else it's just head-to-tail racing.
Well, pretty much, and as you said, being able to come out of that with 15 incident points over 3 races, I think is pretty darn good. But we head to another sort of club-style circuit, albeit one that is a little bit longer and wider in Donington this time. How do you like the chances there for your Hyundai?
Yeah, I think it will be okay. I like Donington, and yeah, have quite a few laps there from before, so yeah, I think it should be good.
Well, we wish you all the best of luck there, Hagen. And anybody you would like to thank for this run here today?
I think probably the same as Terje, the whole team, Ignium and Paul King. It's just a fantastic team, and everyone is helping each other in training and race, and it's just awesome.
Well, fantastic. Thank you so much. That was How Can I Ask? Sam?
Yeah, next up, oh man, it's tricky to decide. Let's bring up Mats Borg Andersen. Second place in race 1, second place in race 2, third place in race 3. Mats, congratulations, that was some set of results.
Yeah, that was quite nice. Little bit sad to not get P4 and P2 in the last race, but yeah, struggled a bit to overtake there, so yeah.
Yeah, I can imagine, of course, starting down in 11th place would have been tricky to make your way up. In race 1 and race 2, how was it chasing down Terrier out in front? I mean, were you pushing 100% to try to keep up with him, or were you quite content just staying behind and, you know, keeping that strong second place?
I was pushing really hard, and I lost too much time on some specific laps because I make some mistakes in the chicane and turn 7, I think it is. So yeah, it could have been a lot better if I managed to minimize the mistakes, but today Terje was just too fast for me, so good on him.
Just a word on that chicane as well, because we saw drivers go certainly 4 wheels beyond the white line. What is the limit at that corner for you to get a slowdown?
I really don't know. It seems random sometimes for me, but I think if you hit it just right, you can get all 4 tires over the white line and not get a slowdown there. But it's close.
Yeah, I don't recall seeing any slowdowns for drivers, which was just really surprising, because it seemed like half the order were absolutely almost cutting that chicane. We've got Donington in the next round of the championship. I think you would have raced in ARLTC round Donington National, if I'm correct. How do you like that circuit?
I love Donington, so it'll be fun to see how the car behaves there. Of course, the Hyundai is really good on curbs, so since we're doing a national layout, it will probably be really good there also.
Yes, well, best of luck for you on that one, Mats. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to thank my girlfriend and for letting me do this, and for my mother for watching this, and also TC Motorsport and everyone affiliated with that.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Matt. And best of luck for you to keep up this form in the final races of the season.
Thank you.
Mats Borg Andersen there, finishing second, and third tonight. DJ, who are we having a chat with next?
Well, I'm going to bring up here the countryman of this track, Mr. Scott Malcolm, who was able to pick up a victory or 2 over the course of the night. Not the best third race there for you, Scott, but still, I think a pretty good night overall.
It was not bad. It could have been better. I didn't realise that I was like leading the arm class in the third race, halfway around the track, and then I kind of like, you know, there was like rabbits caught in headlights, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. It's got to be a little bit confusing out there to run some of that stuff around. But I'm curious. I think when we were talking earlier, you were saying that this wasn't one of your favorite circuits out on the track. How do you like it now after having to have run it here for the league?
It's a tough track, this one. You know, it's when I spoke to you the last time, I hadn't had that much practice on it. But after doing more practice on that, it was feeling better than that. The scary thing is, I've actually driven the track in real life for a track day that I got for my 21st a couple of years ago. So I think I should know the track a lot better than I did there.
Well, as we head a little bit more south on the Isles, we head to Donington next. Do you think that's going to be another pretty good performance for you for the day, or are you a little more trepidatious about that one?
I'm not going to say anything because I always seem to jinx myself when I make predictions. But I'll do all right. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. Well, we'll take it all right. But anybody you want to thank for the runs here today?
Just got to be Team Mad Moto guys, all the Team Mad drivers in here, all the drivers in the league, yourselves for doing the commentary, Dan and that for giving it the time and organising the league, and I think that is about it. And all my fans out there, if I've got any.
Well, folks, that was Scott Malcolm, your AM driver winner from earlier today. Sam?
Yeah, Scott casually pumping in 2 or 3 jokes bets than either of us could muster in an entire season, so making us look like the very unfunny people that we are. We've got Matt Daly in the commentary box with us now. Matt with possibly the drive of the day, coming from 26th position to 8th. Congratulations, Matt, because it's only actually now that I look at your starting position that I realised you started last in that race, and you only finished 18 seconds off the lead in the end, which is not far in a 20-minute race. So, yeah, congratulations. That must be one of the most remarkable drives of your iRacing career.
Yeah, thank you. I'm a bit surprised, to be honest. I'm quite new to league racing and things. I've only ever done the standard daily races, and yeah, got invited along, and yeah, it seems to have gone quite well.
Yeah, for sure. Were you kind of getting a bit more confident as the evening was going on, or were you already quite happy with this Knockhill circuit?
Yeah, I've done some practice. Race 1, I think I didn't really know the rules yet. I just kind of jumped in and I towed back to the pits in qualifying, and then found out that you can't do anything after that. So I kind of had to come from the back in the first race and gain some confidence, and then messed up the second race. But yeah, made up for it in the third.
Absolutely. And how was the overtaking out there? Because we saw it be quite tricky for other drivers, but you seem to make it possible.
Yeah, just being patient really. Not sort of going for the first opportunity, just studying people and then seeing where you're quicker.
We've got 2 more races, or 2 more meetings to go this season at Donington and then Brands Hatch. Are you going to be around for those races?
Yeah, I'm hoping to be. That's the plan.
Excellent. Well, I'm glad that you enjoyed this this meeting enough to sign up to the next couple. Best of luck for them, Matt. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
Just thanks for Tim Perry for inviting me along, and the Boosted team for letting me in. It's yeah, been really good fun.
Awesome. Well, yeah, thanks for having a chat with us, Matt, and yeah, best of luck in the rest of the championship.
Thanks, guys.
Matt Daly there, finishing top of the amateurs in race 3 from last on the grid, all the way down in 26th position overall. DJ, I think we have time for one more interview.
Well, most wonderful, and that person that I'm catching up with now is Sven Calbert. Sven, an amazing final run there in that last race to take victory. That has got to be a good way to cap off a day at Knockhill.
Yeah, thank you very much. Didn't really expect it at all. Been putting the race off for the couple 2 weeks. I've had a few 2 weeks, and yeah, it wasn't just in my personal life straight. Wasn't really looking forward to it. Jumped in the car today at 4 p.m. and yeah, took on Knockhill. Never raced on it before. Yeah, it was quite a challenge. My mind was just survive, and then I managed to catch some positions in race 1. So then was feeling okay. If you want to do something, do it race 2. And give it all and just survive. This was always in my mind every lap again. Just survive, keep the car on the track, and make the best of it. And yeah.
Well, I think you certainly did make the best of it there, but obviously this is a new circuit, and what's your verdict on it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? How you feel about it?
Mixed feelings. I had to try it out some more with some different cars as well, but with the OE, quite fun, quite difficult, really technical. You can really see the skill gap, and yeah, get some more hours in it. Maybe I will like it a little bit more, but at the moment, no, not really. Glad I'm over with it.
Well, that's fair. I mean, we head to 2 other classic circuits in the UK next, in Donington and in Brands Hatch. Is there one that you're looking forward to a little bit more?
Well, take them all on one at a time. We'll see, but I'll hope to get some more practice in, and we'll attack them full on.
Well, all right then. Well, congratulations on the win here in this 3rd event, and anybody you'd like to thank.
Well, everyone except my girlfriend. Let's see, for all the support she's been through for me for the past couple of days, and especially tonight, and Dynamics as well for keeping my head straight, and yeah, just for being with me through all the times, the fun ones as well. So yeah, let's celebrate this one.
Well, celebrate indeed you should, Sven. That was Sven Calbert, your winner of the 3rd race here today. Sam?
Yeah, I think that pretty much brings us to the end of the broadcast then. So yeah, thanks to all the jars for putting on a good show once again, and everyone who turned up to chat for an interview. Of course, the next round of the championship will be in 2 weeks' time at Donington, and then 2 weeks after that will be the final round of the championship at Brands Hatch, so do not miss them. And of course, alternating weeks with this championship is another Sim Racers World Championship. It is the Sim Racers World IMSA Winter Series. That will be on same time zone, same time slot next week on Apex Racing TV on Tuesday. So make sure to tune in for that. We've had some epic rounds of that championship so far this season. Of course, make sure to like this video and subscribe to Apex Racing TV. That's the best way to catch those videos, along with all of our other broadcasts as well, because we have got Porsche Cup tomorrow. We've got TC Britain on Thursday, we've got Radicals Friday, we've got Formula 3 on Saturday, Formula 3.5 on Saturday, we've got more Formula 3s on Sunday, we've got Spec Racer Ford on Sunday as well. We've also got NASCAR on Apex Racing TV. We've got IndyCar, I think, as well. We're also covering, along with lots of other motorsports disciplines as well. So make sure to subscribe to the channel, along with also checking out our social media pages on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, where you can see updates of everything that's going on Apex Racing TV, along with short highlight videos as well of the best moments of our various races. But for now, from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, from DJ Clark, and from Sam Kume, we are going to say goodbye, and we'll see you next time out at Donington Park. See you then.